There's three things you learn when you play. The first thing you learn is note choice. You learn which notes are right and which notes are wrong. You learn which notes go with each other, which notes sound good together, which notes sound bad together, what scale works with what chord. The second thing you learn is your sound. If you don't produce a good sound, it's not going to matter what notes you choose to play. It's like having a bad actor reading great dialogue. Nothing you play is ever going to sound good unless you actually work on the sound of the instrument that you're playing. The third thing you learn about is the simplest one. It's also the most difficult thing to master. It's the thing called time. When you first start playing, you really don't know why time is so important. Time might be how long you have to practice for. Time might be how long it takes to finish playing something your teacher assigned you. Time might be something you have to learn to practice. Time certainly isn't something you can practice on your own. Eventually, you start learning to practice with this thing called a metronome. You learn to practice your time by using this thing. When you first start using the metronome, it'll drive you crazy, because the metronome is one unforgiving bastard. It has one job, and that job is basically to tell you when your time sucks, because the metronome is never wrong. Keeping time is a hard thing. It's the most tedious and frustrating thing to practice. Moving scales and arpeggios and technical exercises up one notch at a time, that's painstaking work. It all seems pretty redundant at first, but then you realize eventually that between those three things, note choice, sound, and time, it's the time that makes it go. And when you start playing jazz, it's how good your time is that determines how strong your groove is. And how strong your groove is shows how good you are as a player. The hallmark of all great players, it seems, is their time. You have to learn to use the time in your favor. You have to learn how to use it. You have to learn how to hear the clicks, not just as downbeats, but as backbeats, offbeats. You need to train yourself to make the metronome sound like the closing hi-hat on a drum, or the off-center pulse at the bass. You need to learn how to make the robotic metronome swing. Ultimately, you realize that you can pretty much play whatever you want, and it'll sound good if you have enough confidence and power. But it really isn't about the note choice. It really isn't about your sound either. It's about your time. If you have good enough time, anything works. You can play anything, and it'll sound good. If you lose your time, you lose your feel. And if you lose your feel, well then you lose the music.